welcome back. I was going to take down yesterday's blah video, but decided to leave it there because, whether you're in Hotel ISO, whether you're in level 3 in Auckland, whether you're in level 4 in Melbourne, or just have a chronic illness and your entire life is locked down, we have blah days sometimes. So what's got me out of my blah, apart from the countdown of 2 more sleeps, is gratitude. So this morning, something happened to make me feel incredibly grateful for the sacrifices of others. This morning, I spoke to a security person, and this delightful young man had been the first security person that I'd seen when I first checked in here. Checked out to the exercise area on my first morning. He took my name and room number, and when I came back in, he said, "Oh, hello, Jill." He remembered me, and he did that with everybody that I saw when he was working at the desk. I hadn't seen him for a few days, and I kind of said hello to him this morning and asked if he had some good time off. And then he revealed something to me that I was just absolutely stunned about. He said that he's been working in this type of security in ISO facilities for since level 4, so many months in New Zealand. And because he knows he could be at risk to other people in the community, he has severely limited his contact with others. He'll only do the necessities. He said his routine is when he gets off shift, gets home, takes his clothes off in the garage, throws them in the washing machine, has a shower, puts on potentially uncontaminated clothes, and only kind of leaves home for the necessities. While New Zealand had 3 months of partying, you could say he's a young man who was making some huge social sacrifices for people like me. New Zealanders returning to New Zealand for a variety of reasons. He's not the only guard who's making sacrifices, but because later today, when all is revealed about this cluster in Auckland and what happens next for New Zealanders, if Winston Peters, the Deputy Prime Minister's little blab on ABC TV yesterday is correct, where he indicated that the cluster comes from a quarantine breach. What I want to say, if that is correct, and if it comes from a guard, that the majority of guards, and all the ones I've spoken to here, are making incredible sacrifices. They are getting high nasal swabs on a regular basis, and I think that's been stepped up with the cluster. I spoke to an aviation security guard, quite a few of them are aviation security, who told me that during level 4, when she was on supermarket duty, a disgruntled shopper who she'd mentioned to, please don't come to the supermarket 3 times a day, you're only allowed to leave the house once, responded by getting into his car and running into her, injuring her. And she kind of said, well, everyone was having a bad time. Everybody in this facility, in this hotel, whether they're plainclothes security, hotel security, aviation security, we occasionally see the army and the police, and the entire hotel staff. We might glimpse the cleaners, doing deep cleans of rooms when people leave, the nurses who take our temperature every second day and do 2 delightful COVID swabs, the welfare team, housekeeping who'll drop off, make an order from the outside world. They are running around. I also heard from a guard that one young woman the other weekend was on her feet running around so much that she actually had, blood and blisters in her feet, which probably needs better footwear, but that's not okay. That if this cluster is linked to a guard making a breach, I'm saying don't take that as gospel as what's happening everywhere, that a lot of people who are helping manage our isolation are doing an amazing job and are incredibly cheerful when us inmates, as I refer to us, are not always at our happiest. So thank you very much for the sacrifices that you've made. I really hope that you don't get a caning in coming days. And, you know, if you're going through a tough time for whatever reasons right now, maybe you have a chronic illness and your life is like one continuous lockdown, or maybe you're in Auckland or Melbourne or somewhere where you've just had a potential exposure, so you're self-isolating. Hang in there. It does get better. We know it will get better. If you have a bad day, roll with it and just give yourself to the next day to check in and see how you feel. Talk to someone. I've had some great chats last night and this morning. As I've said before, this too shall pass. Now, just before I go, if you'd like to give me a hit of dopamine, which, let's face it, at this time we all could do, could you please hit the like? And a double hit of dopamine is like, and also the subscribe. It's up to you. I may or may not see you again. Maybe it'll be from the rolling hills of Wellington next time, in or out of lockdown. See you soon.